Right, as we just heard, Prime Minister Scott Morrison has condemned a propaganda image shared by China's official Ministry of Foreign Affairs and demanded it be removed. To discuss this and more, I'm joined now by the Australian's political editor, Dennis Shanahan from Canberra. Well, it's a vile image. It's been doctored, of course, and it's been posted, Dennis, as trade tensions between Australia and China reach a new low. Now, for it to be issued via the official platform of the Chinese government, that really demands a strong response from the PM. They got it today, but what happens now? How do you think China's going to handle all of this? They're wrong here, and we know China hates to lose face, don't we?
Well, yes, Peter, look, the image is, of course, disgusting. It's fake news, as Donald Trump would say. It's a photoshopped photo. There's an someone purported to be an Australian in uniform on the Australian flag, actually cutting the throat, not threatening to cut the throat, cutting the throat of a young child. Now, this is absolutely horrendous. It is not true. It's not even based on any findings in the Brereton report. But what the difference here is, this isn't some sort of hidden cyber campaign that China's conducting without its name attached to it. This isn't some tame news outlet in China letting people know about the propaganda line. This is official spokesman of the Chinese government espousing a propaganda style which we haven't seen from totalitarian regimes for decades. It is outmoded, it's old-fashioned, and it's normally used to create fear and concern within people's own communities, within totalitarian regimes' own community. It doesn't sit with the global dealings of a modern, developed country which wants its place in the world as a leading nation. This is completely wrong for China to do, and I think the danger for China itself is that it has lost what high moral ground it may have claimed previously by insults from Australia and political rhetoric and various things which it took as insults. This has removed the Chinese moral ground, high moral ground, and Scott Morrison has acted absolutely precisely. He's also said, now enough is enough. Let's get back to a diplomatic dialogue. That's the next step, is to give China, they probably won't apologise, they probably won't withdraw, but if they do actually say, OK, let's stop playing the no talkies and let's get back to some more serious discussion, then something good may come out of this reprehensible act.
It also raises, yet another concern about these platforms like Twitter. They don't have all the requirements a publisher like the Australian would, your paper, if it was to put an image like this up online. It's a whole different kettle of fish. Twitter says it's not their general policy to take down government-sanctioned posts, but this just highlights the inconsistency in the rules. Twitter and Facebook, the whole lot of them.
Well, on several grounds, Peter. On the first one, and Sky, like the other television stations, is masking the worst part of this image. But you no doubt have seen the image, as I have. This is a throat being cut. And surely on simple violence, acts of terrorism, you would not think that they could possibly republish that. Secondly, while they say, oh, we don't take down official government statements. Well, they do modify things that the President of the United States says and say, oh, we don't believe this is true. What's wrong with putting that up and saying this is not true? This is actually a fake photograph. I think that there is a great deal of leeway being given to China on this particular issue by the large techno giants when they weren't giving the same freedom to other world leaders and other governments. I think they really have to act, and on simple violence grounds alone. We've seen how shocked the world was at various scenes of terror that have appeared on these platforms. They should remove this on simple taste grounds and violence.
What about the issue of the unit citation, the meritorious unit citation for special forces? I have not supported that from the get-go. I don't think you punish the many on the alleged actions of a few, Dennis, and I feel this is really getting away from the government.
I think that I've been saying for a couple of days now, there is a problem here for the government. Well, there are two problems. First problem is that the whole idea that you remove everyone's citations, clearly everyone wasn't guilty, and those who were guilty of misconduct in the war in Afghanistan, they should be punished. Everyone shouldn't be punished. And there have been allegations of war atrocities in the Second World War and the Vietnam War, and we expect this sort of allegation to be made, to be investigated and be carried out. We don't expect wholesale removals of the citations. Some of these people are dead. They received their citations posthumously, and to do that is wrong. Now, the political problem the government has is that the defence government, the defence hierarchy, has decided to act quickly, and yet the public clearly thinks that there are people up high, including politicians, who should be able to say, well, hold on, before we go and remove everyone's citation, let's have a look at everyone involved. Let's apportion the blame and the guilt according to what actually happened. And this includes senior defence personnel, not just the people in the front line. And, you know, I think that Tony Abbott, John Howard and so forth, who were there visiting the troops in Afghanistan, would not want to see this great wholesale loss of recognition and respect. The ADF is the most respected group in Australia. The public believes it, and that visceral reaction we saw to the Chinese fake photo today demonstrates in what high regard the ADF is held, and there is also that Australian sense that the people at the top have to bear as much responsibility as the people in the field shooting the guns.
Yes, I suspect if someone rang Mr Howard, or indeed my former boss, they'd have to hold the phone down here for their support view on this whole issue. I don't think they'd have any truck.
Funny you should say that.
Absolutely right.